Hey Cancer, and welcome into Trivia Tarot. Please remember this is a shadow work channel, and so it requires some bravery and a willingness to look at yourself. Let's welcome in the ambassadors of the divine light. I hope you're having a great holiday, Cancer. So when I checked in with your energy, I kept hearing burnout, burnout, burnout. And it's funny because I just gave my cat a couple of new toys and she's basically doing little burnouts. She's like scratching around and going super fast on the wood floor, chasing around these little puffballs. And so maybe you're feeling kind of bored right now, Cancer. You're feeling kind of burnt out, like the same old isn't doing it for you anymore. So let's see if we can get some more information. All right, so I have the Four of Wands, and I'm getting the feeling that I have a couple of different groups that I'm speaking to here. Maybe one of you is in a relationship, in a marriage that you're feeling burnt out in, and another is feeling burnt out by the expectations of like the holiday season, like the constant celebrations. And in the previous reading I did for you, Cancer, it was like everybody wants you to be the same that you've always been, but you're ready to grow. And so that can apply to both of these different groups of you. So if that's resonating for you, let me know. Let me see if I can get a little bit more. So clarifying this Four of Wands, I got the False card, which can be a pretty heavy meaning here. Some of you might be thinking that the relationship, the marriage, the family that you are now part of doesn't align with you. And others of you, maybe you're feeling that the way that your crew celebrates the holidays and expects other people to show up during this time of year is false. Like maybe your spiritual growth is making you feel like there's some emptiness there, or some, I keep hearing bad design. Like some of you may be feeling kind of forced into participating in this relationship or in this celebration, in this family, in this circle. Some of you may have received some sort of message having to do with this relationship, something that has to do with your sense of connection, and it made you feel like everything's kind of fake or kind of faked, like forced, like where you're desiring authenticity, you're not getting it. And maybe because of your association with whatever relationship or celebration or crew this is, you are acting in an inauthentic way. And Spirit is asking you to kind of evaluate that in your heart space. Evaluate why this message brought up these feelings of like suspicion I'm getting, or a need to isolate, a need to change, a need to challenge the status quo. As a very motherly energy, Cancer, maybe you're feeling like you need to challenge the status quo or reevaluate this relationship or this celebration style to help everyone involved to grow. But what you want to do is just kind of remove yourself from this same old energy, this boring, we're not really progressing energy, perhaps. It's interesting because I saw bits and pieces of that Christmas movie, Christmas with the Cranks. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis, and their daughter goes off to college, and then they decide that for the following Christmas, they're just going to go on a cruise, right? And they don't want to do all of the hubbub of Christmas. They don't want to decorate their house. They don't want to participate in all of the typical, let's call it Western Christian stuff. They don't want to put a bunch of lights on their house. They don't want to do all of the parties and all the expected, quote unquote, expected things. And they get kind of like really criticized and ridiculed, and people get really butthurt about it. So maybe you wanted to do Christmas in a different way and you received a message that really hurt your feelings. That was like, why don't you want to participate? Or, you've always done this. Why are you changing your mind all of a sudden? Or, however that resonates for you, Cancer. Interesting. Let me see if I can get some more. I'm getting that for at least some of you. The people that you're attached to that are kind of judging you during this time are highly religious, highly Christian religious. And like Christmas is a big thing for them. And they're like, how dare you? You're insulting Jesus and his sacrifice. And maybe you're kind of like, it's not even Jesus's birthday. Why do we have all of these traditions around this like pagan holiday? Don't you guys see that? Maybe you're having some like changes in your spirituality that's causing everybody to like clutch their pearls and gasp. And you're like, look, it's not that I'm a bad person. I just don't want to celebrate this way anymore. And that can relate to a marriage too, like if you're in a relationship with a highly religious person, that sense of judgment can also be there. Yeah, I'm getting this weird sense that people are kind of like accusing at least some of you of being like a heathen or a heretic for not celebrating Christmas in the typical traditional way you always have. So I'm hearing the word reawakening. It's like maybe you were part of this mindset with these people, but you're having like this reawakening about what it means to be spiritual and what it means to be Christian. And I clarified with the future card. So it's like you're seeing into a new paradigm. You're seeing into a new, more evolved sense of spirituality that isn't necessarily stuck in tradition and religion as we've come to understand it. It's like, but because you are such a homey sign, you're like such a point of stability for so many people, at least many of you are, Cancer. For you to change your mind and for you to be like changing at all and evolving can make people kind of go a little crazy. It's like they've been relying on you to be the same all of this time. And that can make a marriage or a committed relationship a challenge. And it can also make like a family unit feel confused. It's like, but we always do it this way. Why would you do it any differently? Why would you change it? And people can feel kind of like put on the spot or it can make you feel ostracized. It's like you're ready to grow and change, and other people aren't ready for that. So I'm also getting that for a few of you, there might be a passed on relative that the family is like doing these traditions in honor of. And so they're kind of coming down on you for not participating or not wanting to participate the same way you always have. There seems to be a lot of complicated feelings going on here. It's like nobody's necessarily right or wrong in this battle of spirituality, I guess. Everybody's trying to do what they think is the right thing for the family, what they think is the right thing for their heart space. Unless somebody's being, and this could be you too, Cancer, somebody's being combative about it, or like, I'm right, you're wrong, like creating a conflict where there shouldn't be conflict. It's like you can gracefully disagree. You can consciously and conscientiously put up healthy boundaries with people who have certain expectations for you that you no longer agree with. But the danger is using this disagreement as an excuse to get into conflict. So maybe for some of you, there's like underlying issues anyway between you and this relationship or this family unit that is coming up and like hurt feelings around this Christmas tradition, this like expected holiday activity. It could be as simple as you don't want to bake that same cake this year. You want to do something different. And somebody's like, oh my God, how could you? Grandmama will be so disappointed and turning in her grave. And, like if that's triggering for someone, I do apologize, but I'm trying to keep it light here. Spirit, can you give Cancer some advice on how to approach this? So Spirit gave me the Leo card, Shine. It's the number 5. And I'm being told to mention that if you have Leo in your chart, like in your rising sign or your moon sign, this might give you a good idea of how to express this change in heart that you feel strongly about, that you feel is necessary, that represents a positive truth, a new dawn. Like if it's your rising sign, it could just be that, your general demeanor about it being kind of flamboyant or, just like your dress can reflect how you feel about this. Leo is very glamorous. If it's your moon sign, it could be that when you're in the safe space with your family, and you're having a heart-to-heart conversation with them, face-to-face, you kind of firmly express yourself. And it could be that it's just asking you to believe in the strength of what you've realized and not to allow other people who are at a different point to tell you that what you've realized is wrong or that it's offending them. Like if it's offending them, that's fine. You can't really do anything about offending somebody by expressing your truth or living your truth. You can be conscientious about how you express yourself. Like if you're dealing with an elderly person who really has been doing this tradition forever, and you're changing your mind, and you can be really gentle or just choose not to be overt about it and have strength in yourself to not turn it into a battle with them. Only you can decide what's appropriate in your situation here. But this is a shadow work channel, so I am called to caution you that what we say and how we express ourselves does have an effect on other people. Even if we are really confident and feeling really good about our truth, we still have to interact with other people with compassion and empathy, which, as a Cancer, I don't believe many of you really struggle with that element. But if you are acting in your shadow, you could be kind of lashing out at people, especially if you're feeling singled out. You can be in battle mode. You could be wanting to roar like a lion rather than be regal and composed and choosing to conserve your energy for something that really matters. So Spirit is saying that remember that the essence of fire is a very seductive energy. And in this case, not saying seductive like, oh, a temptress, oh, a siren, but seductive as in inspiring, like something to consider, something to sink your teeth into. Spirit wants you to consider how the resonance of your energy can be harmonious. So rather than causing discord by fighting with somebody, how can you find a way to express yourself in a harmonious manner where everyone's voice is heard and respected? Just because you might see a new way about a new perspective on the holiday or possibly spirituality, religion, Christianity at large, doesn't mean that you have to throw out the old. You wouldn't be where you are without having gone through other experiences, the traditions that have been around. Traditions are there to create consistency and to create a point of community for humanity to connect over. But traditions are also naturally going to change over time. So it's you can treat the past with respect while calling in the future and making the future sound beautiful by expressing it in a beautiful way rather than in an ugly tone. The card that I'm seeing here is the Three of Cups, which in many decks is sort of like a representation of celebration and partying. But in this one, it's like the three women are singing while holding the cups. Well, one woman is kind of covering her cup and not singing, and the other two are singing together. So it's like one woman isn't participating, and the other two are singing together in harmony. And it could be that, the woman who's not singing is just waiting for her turn, because when you're singing in a choir, not everybody sings at the same time. And I've been getting a lot of this in in like messages and downloads lately is this concept of resonance, of like your vibration is part of the chorus of spirit. Like when angels are described in the Bible, they are singing, and it's also part of that concept of like the individual and the whole. Like, you need the individual voice, but when the individual voice is part of the overall orchestra of the choir, it becomes so much greater. It's like the Gestalt principle. So the message here being that you can celebrate harmoniously, even if you're coming together with disagreeing points of view. You know, maybe this has to do with politics and it's not religion. But accept that belief cannot be forced. Belief is a journey that we go through as a human, and the way that we understand life itself, spirit, is a reflection of how we've progressed through life and our own experiences. And that includes the conversations that we have with our loved ones. So, as a deeply compassionate sign, you can do this by leading gently. You know, you are strong in this feeling, in this heart energy that's making you feel like you need to progress, like this thing, this concept needs to progress. So don't come at it from a aggressive point of view, but rather from a compassionate point of view, and be peaceful, you know, be optimistic about the future, and allow for the beauty of differences to come together and create an incredible harmony. All right, Cancer, I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to contribute to the conversation, please leave a comment down below. And if you'd like to say thank you to Spirit, leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Happy holidays. Bye.